This is my brutally honest review of The Sims 4 City Living. EA describes this pack as being about exploring the bustling city of San Myshuno. The densely populated city has enough unique neighborhoods to give your Sims plenty to explore. Discover lively cultural festivals, get closer with your neighbors. From starter apartments to penthouses, embark on a new metropolitan career. Taking a look at cast, there aren't enough hairstyles in my opinion, especially for male Sims. But I actually think the outfits are pretty good all round. They have a really good variety of things from many different cultures, and most of it is really colourful and bright. There are definitely some questionable things, but for the most part, I actually think the cast is really strong. Of course, there's always significantly less for male Sims, but the stuff that is there I think is great, and it contains at least some more stuff than most other packs do for men. Most of it is not traditional Western clothing, so I know most of my viewers probably won't like it, but I personally really love it. There's also a lot of great swatches for all the different items and they don't feel like an afterthought. There are a couple of things for kids, but nothing for toddlers and infants, which to be fair, I'm not too bothered about because the pack is meant for players who like young adult gameplay of living in the city, so I wouldn't really expect there to be much kids stuff. Although in general, I really feel like a lot of effort was put into the cast and I do find myself using this stuff a lot. I don't really have any criticisms for City Living cast apart from the massive lack of male stuff. I'm giving it an 8 out of 10 for cast. In terms of build mode, City Living has an absolutely huge amount of build by stuff. The catalogue is really versatile and I think it contains a really nice mixture of modern, industrial, ethnic stuff and even shabby stuff. It also contains a lot of great stuff for community lots. I think if you're a builder, you're really going to get a lot of great use out of this pack. It definitely lacks some architectural stuff, but the amount of buy objects here really is insane. There's also a lot of amazing paintings and decorations here too. I personally love the more ethnic looking stuff, but the variety here is so wide you can basically make any kind of apartment. Assuming this pack is 50% off on sale, I think the build stuff is really great value for money. I think the modern decor as well is really great for making modern looking parks and modern looking community lots, and you can really easily create some chic penthouses, and I just feel like it adds so much stuff that we've never seen before. A lot of Sims 4 packs feel kind of copycat with the amount of build stuff that we have now, but City Living is one of those packs that truly feels unique. I could yap on for ages about how much I love the build stuff in this pack. It gets a 10 out of 10 for build mode. In terms of the world, San Myshuno has 4 main areas with tons of apartments to choose from. They really did add a lot, and I think there are also 3 to 4 rooftop penthouses that you can use. The apartments can only be used to make residential apartments, but the upper penthouses can be converted into any lot type. All of the apartments are unfortunately horrendous and awfully decorated. As we know, Maxes don't know how to build in their own game. When this pack was released, they didn't employ real Simmers to make their builds, so everything looks pretty bad. Although I do really appreciate the wide variety of lots to build on yourself, and if you're a builder, I think you will really enjoy building in apartments. You can't edit external walls, obviously, and only internal ones, and some apartments have things that you can't actually move, so you have to build around them for added challenge. The only major issue with build mode is that you can't actually upload apartments to the gallery. Instead of bothering to add functionality for this, EA basically just abandoned it, which is so lazy and dumb. The only workaround for this is if you build an apartment, you delete all of the walls for the separate rooms in the apartment to technically make it one big room and then upload it on the gallery as a room. But even then, it's just so silly. Why didn't they just add apartments as a separate thing in the gallery? I will never understand. I think it's lazy, to be honest. The world itself, despite being supposedly a big bustling city, is pretty dead. There are barely any townies anywhere. It really breaks the immersion of living in a big city to see absolutely nobody around you. This is a massive thumbs down from me as it defeats the whole point of living in the city. The navigatable area is tiny and there's barely anything to do unless you're prepared to go through 1,000 loading screens. San Myshuno kind of reminds me, you know those like sci-fi movies where they're like 500 years in the future? What was that movie with Will Smith? Was it iRobots or something? Where like they're in this big city but it's dead and there's nobody else there. You're like the only person in this huge city. That's what San Myshuno feels like. There are some interactable objects in this world, like unique food stalls, painting murals to paint and performers in the streets, so I will give the pack credit for that. Every single Sims 4 world is very, very bad, but I feel like this one is the best of a bad bunch. It gets a 6 out of 10. In terms of gameplay, renting apartments in the city is fun, as certain apartments have challenging lot traits. You'll get a landlord, which is just a basic NPC who fixes things if they break in your apartment building. Sometimes your neighbors will make loud noises at night and you can't sleep, so you'll have to bang on their door to make them shut up, which I think is quite funny. I think living in apartments is generally fun, and it does feel different to living in a normal house. One major part of this pack is the festivals. There's actually a good variety and they all involve doing different things. It's definitely a highlight of the pack, as it makes living in the city feel a lot more alive. There's definitely a big emphasis on young adult social gameplay in city living, and I think the festivals are a great way to interact with a group of friends or meet new Sims. Many Sims 4 packs now have festivals, but I feel like city living is the only one that actually does it well, in my opinion. Although you do get notified of every single upcoming Sims 4 festival, even if you don't live in the San Myshuno world, which is really annoying. I feel like they should have made it so that you only get notified of these festivals if you do live in San Myshuno. In terms of new activities, the pack has karaoke bar lot type, and doing karaoke is fun, I guess. There's also a new singing skill in general. You can't be a famous singer, but you can busk in the street for tips. You can also record songs and send them to a label. It's kind of like a career. Basketball is added to the game, although I will say the animations for this are a little stiff, and your Sims don't actually play basketball, but instead awkwardly throw the ball in a net with a ton of animation lag. The pack comes with bubble blowing, which is a family way of saying shisha, although it does sometimes leave your Sims feeling dazed, so it's not so family friendly. The pack has a keyboard, the only one in the game I believe, but it functions in the exact same way as a piano. Compared to other packs, City Living has a lot of random small gameplay features, but I think they add up to an overall whole and contribute to the pack feeling like a big social city experience. There really is a big emphasis on meeting new Sims and doing activities together. The pack has two careers, being a critic and a politician. You can branch out to being either an art critic or a food critic. Both careers are rabbit hole careers, but they actually have a lot of live elements, making them feel like they are actually live careers, and I do really like this. The politician career I think is particularly fun, as it lets you do protesting in the streets and doing speeches. There is also a social media career in this pack, but there are already so many social media and influencer careers in The Sims 4. It's really confusing and they're very overlapping. I would say it's one of the least developed aspects of this pack. City Living's a weird pack because on paper there aren't that many gameplay features, but it definitely adds to the overall experience of the game and makes it a lot more enjoyable. For me, it's personally my favorite pack. I actually really enjoy starting off in the city, having my Sim get like a normal job and then working their way up, and then when they make a bit more money and they transition from young adult to adults, then I would move them into more of a suburban neighborhood. I just think it integrates very well into gameplay, and I truly feel like City Living has gameplay that feels different. When I play with City Living, it feels like I'm playing a totally unique experience, which I think is quite rare for Sims 4 packs, and I do really appreciate that about City Living, which is why I love it so much. The gameplay for this pack is superb. It gets a 9 out of 10. In terms of cross-pack play, if you have Get Together, the pack comes with some club activities. Unfortunately, because you can't really change the lot type of apartments, it doesn't really integrate well with other packs in terms of community lot types, although as I said before, you can change the penthouses to any kind of lot that you like, so you have a lot more flexibility there. Seasons is a particularly annoying pack because if it rains during the GeekCon festival, all of the electronic items fail and they malfunction, and it's very immersion breaking and annoying. Certain gameplay aspects are barred from the City Living world. For example, you can't have horses if you live in San Myshuno in an apartment. Although I understand not every single pack needs cross-pack play. City Living's no exception. Like, why would you be having a horse in a city? Do you know what I mean? I think the cross-pack features that do come with City Living are sufficient, and I really can't see any room for improvement, so it gets an 8 out of 10 for cross-pack play. In terms of performance, now one bug that plagues this pack is if you live in an apartment and there's a festival going on in the area where you live, your door magically unlocks itself in your apartment and loads of random townies will walk in, which is is very immersion breaking. I think they've tried to fix it in the past, but they haven't properly fixed it, so it is unfortunately a bug that comes with the pack. Also, the street sale, which is a festival with the pack, doesn't work at all. It's basically a broken feature and you can't really sell things, unfortunately. Although in general, most things in this pack work very well, so it gets a 7 out of 10 for performance. In all, I'm giving City Living an 8 out of 10. Absolutely cracking pack. I love it. Thank you very much for watching. I will see you in the next one.